7 words. That's all it took. "I'm just working late tonight, babe." He said it with that familiar half smile, the one that used to make my stomach flutter when we were dating. The one I'd come to trust like gravity. Steady, reliable, safe. But tonight, that same smile felt like a trapdoor swinging open beneath me. Because 10 minutes ago, I stood in the rain, shivering in my thin cotton cardigan, staring at his silver Audi parked not at his office, not at the 24-hour gym he sometimes used after hours, but at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac in Maple Ridge, outside her house. The porch light was on, warm, inviting, and through the sheer curtain in the bay window, I saw them, him and her, not arguing, not fighting, not even talking, just sitting, side by side on the couch, knees almost touching, steam curling from 2 matching mugs, his hand resting, like it belonged there on her knee. And in that moment, the world didn't end. It rewrote itself. Every memory, every inside joke, every whispered "I love you" before sleep, all of it collapsed into a single, suffocating truth. He wasn't working late. He was building something else. And I, his wife of 12 years, the mother of his children, the woman who still folded his laundry by color and saved the last bite of dessert for him, wasn't even in the blueprint. But this isn't the end of the story. This is where it begins. Let me take you back. To the Tuesday morning that felt like any other, to the quiet erosion I didn't see coming until it buried me whole. My name is Claire. I'm 38. I live in a pale blue craftsman-style house in a suburb just outside Portland maple trees lining the street. A white picket fence my husband, Daniel, painted himself the summer our daughter turned 5. We have 2 kids, Lily, who's 10 and writes poetry about thunderstorms, and Noah, 7, who still believes the moon follows him home at night. I teach 3rd grade at a public elementary school 10 minutes away. My classroom is a riot of color student-made paper stars dangling from the ceiling, a reading nook with mismatched pillows, a wall of kindness notes the kids slip into a jar every Friday. I love my job. Not because it's glamorous, but because it matters. Because in a world that feels increasingly fractured, I get to be the person who holds space for small hands and big feelings. Daniel is a structural engineer, quietly brilliant, the kind of man who notices when the dishwasher's drain pump sounds off before it fails. He fixes things. He plans. He's the reason our gutters haven't overflowed in 3 winters. The reason Lily's science fair volcano erupted on cue last year. We met in college, me, wide-eyed and quoting Mary Oliver in coffee shops. Him, sketching bridge designs on napkins. We built a life the way he built models, methodically, with care, balancing weight and tension, ensuring every piece supported the next. Or so I thought. I used to believe love was a fortress, strong walls, a locked gate, a hearth that never went cold. Now I know better. Love is more like drywall. It looks solid. But if the framing's wrong, if one beam is crooked, one joint unsecured, it can crack without warning. And the damage? It starts long before you see the fissure. I didn't suspect infidelity. Not really. Not until that night. But looking back, there were signs, tiny tremors, I just mistook them for the normal settling of a long marriage, like the creak of floorboards in an old house. Harmless, expected. I was wrong. Our days had a rhythm, predictable, comfortable, safe. Mornings began at 6:15 a.m. with the soft thump of Daniel's feet hitting the hardwood floor. I'd hear the shower run, then the quiet clink of his coffee mug, the chipped one with the faded "World's Okayest Engineer" logo. By 6:45, Lily would pad down the hall in mismatched socks, her hair a wild halo, clutching her stuffed rabbit, Thumper. Noah would follow, still half asleep, rubbing his eyes with a fist. Breakfast was toast whole grain, lightly buttered, and fruit. Daniel always cut the apple slices into stars for Noah. "Geometry with breakfast," he'd say, winking. I'd drive the kids to school, Lily chattering about her latest story. It's about a girl who talks to crows, mom real crows, not metaphorical ones. Noah pressing his nose to the window, counting red cars. Then, my classroom, the smell of crayons and hand sanitizer, the low hum of children learning to spell because and beautiful, the satisfying thwip of a rubber band snapped around a stack of graded papers. Evenings were quieter. Daniel usually got home by 6:30. He'd change into sweatpants, kiss the top of my head while I stirred pasta sauce, ask how my day went, not as a formality, but like he truly wanted to know. We'd eat at the kitchen island, the kids bickering over who got the bigger garlic knot, Daniel mediating with calm logic. After bedtime books read, teeth brushed, one more hug granted, we'd sit on the couch. No TV, just us. Him scrolling through architectural journals on his iPad, me reading a novel or grading papers, my feet tucked under his thigh for warmth. Sometimes he'd reach over, brush a strand of hair from my temple, and murmur, "You're doing such a good job, Claire." It wasn't passion, not like 25. It was presence, deeper, truer, or so I believed. But then, the shifts began. Subtle, almost imperceptible. First, it was the phone. He started taking it into the bathroom with him, not just to scroll, but to talk. Voice low, door slightly ajar. When I'd pass by, he'd go silent, too quickly. "Just a client," he'd say, emerging, screen dark. "They're stressed about the Riverbend project." Then, the late nights increased. Not often, once a week, maybe twice. Always the same reason: deadline pressure. Site visit ran long. Partner meeting ran over, always plausible. Always delivered with that same calm, reasonable tone. I didn't pry, not because I trusted him blindly, but because I trusted us. 12 years, 2 kids, a mortgage, a dog we adopted from the shelter named Barnaby, who still slept at the foot of our bed. We'd survived Lily's pneumonia, Daniel's layoff scare in 2021, my mother's cancer diagnosis and remission. We were team. So when he started wearing cologne again, not the sandalwood he'd worn since our honeymoon, but something newer, crisper, citrus-tinged, I told myself. Maybe he's trying to feel confident. Work's been tough. When he began leaving his work laptop in his locked office instead of the dining table, I thought, client confidentiality makes sense. When he started showering before work, not after gyms closed this week for renovations, he explained. I nodded, didn't question, because love, I thought, was giving space, not suspicion. I didn't know I was making room for a ghost. The first real crack came on a Thursday. Lily had a violin recital at 5:30 p.m. Daniel had promised sworn he'd be there. "Front row, Claire. I'll even wear the tie Lily picked out." At 5:15, my phone buzzed. Stuck in traffic on I-5. Massive accident near Hawthorne. Might miss first piece. So sorry, my heart sank. Lily would be devastated, but accidents happen. I texted back, "It's okay, we'll save you a seat." Then, at 5:40, 10 minutes into the recital, Lily nervously tuning her strings, I glanced at my phone again. A notification from Find My iPhone. Daniel's phone had just been located, not on I-5, not even near Portland. It pinged at a Starbucks in Beaverton, 10 miles west of the highway, in the opposite direction. My fingers went cold. I stared at the map, a tiny blue dot blinking innocently beside the coffee cup icon. Traffic accident? Beaverton wasn't on any route from his office to the school. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Fear coiled in my stomach, tight and cold. What if I'm wrong? What if it's a glitch? What if he's with someone? The thought was so grotesque, so unthinkable. I shoved it down. Instead, I watched. I started noticing things. The way he'd pause mid-sentence when his phone lit up a quick flick of his eyes, then a forced smile as he turned it face down. How he'd started using headphones at home even when he wasn't on a call. "Better sound quality for Zoom," he said. But his jaw would tense when he put them on, like bracing. Then, one rainy Tuesday, I found it. A receipt, tucked into the side pocket of his work bag. Crumpled, faded. The Olive and Thyme Maple Ridge, or 2 entrees, 1 bottle Pinot Noir, $78.42. Date, October 12th. The night he'd told me he was pulling an all-nighter at the office. The night I'd brought him a thermos of soup and a fleece blanket, only to find his office dark, his car gone. "Traffic's awful," he'd texted. "Went home to grab files. Back soon." But the Olive and Thyme wasn't near his office, or ours. It was in Maple Ridge, a neighborhood I'd never been to. Quiet, tree-lined, upscale. I Googled it that night, after the kids were asleep. Scrolled through Street View. Saw the restaurant a cozy bistro with fairy lights and wrought iron chairs. And then, further down the same street, a house, pale yellow siding, black shutters, a small porch with 2 rocking chairs, and parked in the driveway, a silver Audi. My breath stopped. It couldn't be, but the license plate, partially visible, started with OR78 Daniel's plates, ended in 784. My hands shook as I zoomed in. The angle was bad, the light poor, but the shape, the curve of the rear fender, the way the driver's side mirror sat slightly crooked, he'd bumped it backing out of the garage last spring. It was his car, and parked right outside that house. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the kitchen table, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the photo on my laptop. My mind raced. Who lives there? A client? A friend? A cousin? But Daniel had no family in Oregon, no close friends in Maple Ridge. At 3:17 a.m., I opened Google Maps again, typed in the address visible on the street sign in the photo. 428 Sycamore Lane. Then I typed, "Who owns 428 Sycamore Lane?" Property records loaded. Owner, Elena M. Carter. No photo, no other details. But the name, Elena, It echoed in my skull, familiar. Then I remembered. 2 months ago. Daniel had come home unusually quiet. When I asked what was wrong, he'd rubbed his temples and said, "Just ran into someone from the old firm today. Elena, from Viridian." Viridian. His first engineering job, 10 years ago, before we were married. "She's consulting on the Riverbend project now," he'd added quickly. "Small world. I hadn't thought much of it. People reconnect. It happens." But now, I opened LinkedIn, searched Elena Carter, Viridian Engineering. Her profile loaded. Mid-30s, sharp bob, warm brown eyes, a smile that reached them, and in the background of her header photo, a blurred glimpse of a porch. 2 rocking chairs, black shutters. My stomach dropped. That night, I didn't confront him. I followed him. Thursday. He said he had a critical site walkthrough that would run late. I waited until he backed out of the driveway. Then I slipped into my car, engine off, lights dim, and trailed him. Not to a construction site, not to his office. He drove west, past the city limits, into Maple Ridge, and turned onto Sycamore Lane. My hands gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. He parked. Not in the driveway this time. At the curb, in front of 428 Sycamore Lane. He got out, adjusted his collar, took a breath, and walked up the path not like a man visiting a client, but like a man coming home. He didn't knock. He let himself in. The door closed behind him. I sat there, in the gathering dusk, rain beginning to streak the windshield, and I knew. Not suspected, knew. I didn't go in that night. I couldn't. My body felt like stone, my thoughts a storm. Instead, I drove home, made dinner, helped Noah with his math homework, listened to Lily read her new poem, "The Sky is a Bruise," and praised her metaphors, kissed them both goodnight. Then I sat in the dark living room, waiting. He came home at 10:47 p.m., smelled like rain, and something else, vanilla, warm, hers. He kissed my forehead. "Long day," he murmured. I didn't flinch. Didn't cry. Just looked at him, really looked, and asked, "How was the site walkthrough?" He hesitated. Half a second. But I saw it. The flicker in his eyes. The slight tightening of his jaw. "Fine," he said too evenly. "Wet. Messy. You know how it is." I nodded. "Yeah," I said softly. "I do." The next morning, while he showered, I did something I never thought I'd do. I opened his laptop. His password hadn't changed in 8 years. Lily, 2015, the year she was born. Straight to his email. Scrolled. Inbox. Sent. Deleted items. And there it was. A folder hidden named ZZ_archive. Inside dozens of emails, all to e.carter@viridian-consulting.com. Not work emails, not project updates. "Miss your laugh tonight." That song came on in the car. Remember dancing to it in the kitchen? Noah's drawing reminded me of yours. You'd love it. Noah's drawing. Our Noah. My vision blurred. I clicked open the oldest one. From Daniel R. to Elena C. Date August the 3rd, 2023. Elena, I know it's been years, too many, but seeing you last week, it felt like no time at all, like picking up a book you loved and realizing the story never really ended. I know you're in Portland now, working on Riverbend, and I know things are complicated for me, for us. But if you're open to coffee, just coffee, I'd love to catch up. No expectations, just remembering. The first email, innocent, nostalgic, but the last one, from Daniel R. to Elena C. Date, November 18th, 2025. She suspects something. I can feel it. Last night, she looked at me like she'd never seen me before. Like I was a stranger wearing my face. I hate this. I hate lying. But I can't lose you, Lena. Not again. Not when this feels real. When it feels like the life I was supposed to have. We'll figure it out, I promise. Just give me time. The life I was supposed to have. The words burned. I scrolled further, found a subfolder, photos. Inside a single image, a scan, yellowed at the edges. A photo of Daniel and a younger Elena, arms around each other, grinning on a beach. Sunset, palm trees, scrawled on the back in faded ink, Maui, June 2014. Before everything changed. Before me. Before us. Before he chose stability over passion. Duty over desire. Or so I'd thought. Now I understood. This wasn't an affair that started 2 months ago. It had been simmering for 11 years. He'd never let go of her. He'd just paused the story. And now he was writing the next chapter with her. I closed the laptop, sat very still. The rain had stopped. Dawn light seeped through the blinds, pale and fragile. I thought of Lily's poem. The sky is a bruise, purple and yellow at the edges, holding its breath before it breaks open. I wasn't holding my breath anymore. I was breaking open. And in that fracture, clarity, sharp, brutal, freeing. He came downstairs at 7:02 a.m., tie half knotted, coffee in hand. He froze when he saw me. I was sitting at the kitchen table, his laptop open, the photo of him and Elena on the screen. His face went slack, then pale, then resigned. "Oh," he said. "Just that. Quiet. Final. I didn't yell, didn't scream. My voice was calm. Low, like the eye of a hurricane. 11 years, I said." He swallowed, nodded. "Maui," I said. Another nod. "Before I met you." "Before you chose me." A pause. Then softly, "I did choose you, Claire." "Did you?" I asked. "Or did you choose the safe option, the stable one? The one who'd raise your kids and pack your lunches while you kept her alive in your head?" He flinched. "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like, Daniel?" My voice cracked. "Tell me, because I need to understand how my husband, my best friend, could look me in the eye every day and lie. How he could tuck our son in at night and then drive to her house to drink wine and remember. Tears filled his eyes. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. Seeing her again, it was like waking up. Waking up? I laughed, a raw, broken sound. From what? From us? From Lily's first steps? From holding my hand in the delivery room? From 12 years of building a life together? He looked down. It's not that simple. Make it simple. He took a breath. I love you, Claire. I do. But with Elena, it's different. It's by effortless, like breathing. With you, it's work. Beautiful work. But work. The words landed like stones. Effortless. Work. I stood. My legs trembled, but my voice didn't. You know what's work, Daniel? Trusting someone with your whole heart and finding out they've been keeping a spare key for someone else? That's work. Raising children who believe their father is a hero, that's work. Forgiving? That might be the hardest work of all. I walked to the fridge, took out the thermos I'd filled last night, chicken soup, his favorite. I unscrewed the lid, poured it slowly into the sink. The steam rose. The smell, onions, thyme, love filled the kitchen. Then I dropped the thermos into the trash. Clang. He didn't move, just stared at the floor. I'm not asking you to leave tonight, I said. The kids deserve stability, but you will sleep in the guest room. You will tell them nothing until we figure this out. And you will never speak to her again. Not by text, not by email, not by smoke signal, until we've talked to a counselor. Together. He looked up. Hope flickered. You'd try? I met his gaze. I don't know if I can forgive you, Daniel, but I know this. I will not let my children's story be defined by your betrayal, and I will not let my story end here. I picked up my keys, my bag. Where are you going? He whispered. School, I said. My third graders are waiting, and today we're learning about boundaries. I walked out, didn't slam the door, just closed it, softly, like ending a sentence. That was 3 months ago. Daniel moved out 2 weeks later, not dramatically, not angrily. He rented a small apartment downtown. He sees the kids every other weekend, every Wednesday night. He shows up early, leaves late, really listens when Lily talks about her poems, when Noah explains his Lego galaxy. We're in couples counseling, not to fix us, not yet, but to learn how to co-parent without poison in the well. Elena? I don't know what happened between them. I don't ask. Some doors, once closed, don't need reopening. What I do know is this. I filed for legal separation, not divorce, not yet. I'm giving myself space, not to win him back, but to find myself again. The woman who existed before, wife and mom, became her entire identity. I started therapy, not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand how I missed the signs, how I confused silence for safety, how I let love become a cage I built myself, bar by bar, with every excuse I made for him. I joined a writing group, not for publication, for truth. I wrote about the night I found the car, about the smell of vanilla on his collar, about the way my hands didn't shake when I poured the soup down the drain, because sometimes the deepest pain doesn't shatter you, it centers you. Lily asked me last week over pancakes, Mom, do you still love Dad? I didn't lie. I didn't dodge. I put down my fork. looked her in the eyes so like his, but with my stubborn set to the jaw, and said, "Love isn't one thing, honey. It's layers. I love the man who taught you to ride a bike. I love the father who sits with Noah for hours building forts. But I cannot love the man who chose secrecy over honesty, loyalty to a ghost over truth with me. That love, it's gone, and that's okay." She thought for a moment. Then, "So, you love the good parts?" "Yes," I said, "but I protect myself from the broken ones." She nodded, satisfied, and added, "Like how I love Thumper's ear, but not when he sheds on my homework." I laughed, really laughed.